Hi, Zoe. Thank you so much for being here. Zoe, you've just come through my one-on-one program, and I'm wondering whether you can just take us back to how life was prior to meeting me, to coming on board with me, and how your anxiety levels were, your health anxiety fundamentally.
Yeah, when I first met you, I was not in a very good place. I was having panic symptoms, anxiety symptoms, and I felt that I couldn't function in my normal life, let alone sort of going out shopping and just normal things like that. There was a lot of fear about how I would cope in certain situations around other people. And I didn't have much understanding of, what anxiety really was. I think I tarred myself with the crazy brush, thinking that I just had this mental illness and just hoped it would go away. And maybe blamed a few other things in the hope that one day I would just wake up and it would all be gone.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a place where, yes, there are still things that challenge me, but I'm able to go, okay, let's challenge those thoughts, change that interpretation, accept what I'm feeling, and sort of focus on my goals. And
Mm.
that's what I've been doing. So if I have a symptom that's bothering me and I need to go shopping and I think, oh my God, how can I feel normal doing this? I can say, okay, how's your sleep been? How's your diet been? Maybe hormones are to play. Maybe you've not drunk enough water. And also remember that when I've actually tracked my symptoms, which is sometimes not a great thing to do, but it shows that things come and go. So I can say,
Absolutely.
if I keep myself, if I have this headache and I'm panicking it's something bad, and I just go with the flow of, right, paracetamol, having some water, going to the shop if I've got a problem with my brain is not going to make a difference. If I'm going to have a panic, if it's at the shop or at home, I'm not going to die from it, So if
100%.
anything, if I challenge myself, if I sort of let myself spiral, then I will get another symptom,
Yeah.
which may be that on top of that headache, I get dizzy, I get palpitations. So what I need to do is keep myself calm, because when that headache goes, I'm going to be really good. And yeah, now I understand that cycle, and it happens so quickly. You sometimes can't break it straight away, but I definitely know how to not escalate it anymore, and it's just slowly losing power in my
So
life.
would you say that the program has given you clarity? Like, has working with me given you that opportunity just to pull things apart and understand the way that your mind and body connect? Because I guess that's what I'm teaching you fundamentally. Does that sound like what you've achieved?
Yes, no, definitely. Sorry, toddler. 100%. I think that, when you understand what is actually going on, how that anxiety cycle starts, and you can see how, you're the victim of your own game, really. That's what I felt the program gave me, was that understanding, the coping mechanisms. I'm a strong, well, it's probably more for myself, but I'm a strong believer that if I understand what's going on, it takes the fear away.
Yeah.
um when you keep thinking that there is something wrong with you, you will believe it, and if you are looking for something,
You'll
you will
find it.
find it.
100%. So
So,
prior to this then, how was like, were you being plagued with lots of symptoms? What was holding you back, I guess, in terms of your symptoms? What was stopping you from living your life?
I think it was that worry that I was missing something, that, I had gone to the hospital before, saying I was having a heart attack and various things like that, and mistrusting the medical professionals. So I think it was always that feeling of, okay, I'm still here, nothing's killing me off just yet. So that should be enough kind of evidence that, this isn't anything terrible. But what if I have missed something, and I don't want to sort of make a scene, embarrass myself. I'm scared of being vulnerable around people.
Yeah.
And I did have a lot of symptoms that, as you know, um, mostly centered around my chest,
Yeah.
because of the muscle injury that I had. And it's so easy to breathe incorrectly and then to notice chest tightness worsening, and sort of going down that cycle. So
Yeah.
because I'm able to understand, that every time I feel something very uncomfortable, I can just say, right, I'm just going to ignore it. And we kind of, I used to do things like sit on the laptop for hours. I would be too afraid to do housework in fear that I would feel breathless. I started to believe I had a problem with exertion.
Yeah.
Um, so now I think, I just do normal things, make a cup of tea, sit down. Even if I feel uncomfortable, I incorporate all the things I used to enjoy doing into my life. And I think what I want to say as well is I didn't want to do all the things in my life I enjoyed whilst I felt that way. And for anybody kind of relating to that, that's the wrong thing to do, because you get further and further away from those things.
Yeah.
So the way back into your life is to act and do as if your life is
100%.
normal,
Yeah.
and you will find yourself again. But if you act like you're ill, then
Yeah,
that's
that's
what will
exactly
happen.
it. In a nutshell, 100%. If we let this control us, if we let it rule our lives, if it dictates to us what we do, then we're going to be under its spell, under its control. So by you having that power and going, I'm not fearful anymore. Like, bring it on, bring it on. I'm going to live my life. I'm still going to do all the stuff that I enjoy. That's the turning point. So for you, going back to that moment, what was that like? That moment where you decided, like, I can't carry on this way. What prompted you to work with me, and how were you at that point when you were like, enough is enough?
I think I realised that I was getting very confused with my symptoms. So I was going through phases of being adamant that my symptoms were anxiety, then it was a muscular problem, and I started to see my own pattern. So I think everybody that goes onto your page is aware they have an issue and they're making the right choice, because when you stumble across a page like what you do, it's not because you don't believe you have anxiety. You do, and you need to listen to yourself. And I was going round in circles, and it was affecting my life. I remember saying to you, I just want to go to the beach with my children. And what was funny was when I went to the beach with my children, it wasn't the anxiety in the car that was the problem. It was my muscular issue from my previous job.
Yeah.
Um, so I was able to recognize and understand that. So even though it was difficult for me, the anxiety itself wasn't really
Wasn't the problem.
issue. So that what you taught me, absolutely worked. And I went to the beach and I sent you the picture
Yeah,
of
you
the
did.
thing
Yeah,
and said, I'm
that
here, because I couldn't envision being in a car for 3 hours. It would just be very, very frightening. I'm stuck in there. I'm going to focus on my breathing. I need to get out this car. I'm a burden to my family. And if you're struggling with the basic things like going to the shop, having a meal out, doing this, doing that, I could barely sit still and watch a film without having major ants in my pants, because the hyper focus on my body was unreal.
yeah,
It was like so in my head that I couldn't get into the moment. But I've got there, and I've just
you did.
followed exactly what I've been taught. And what I would say is, it's so when you're in anxiety and somebody says to you, don't do this and that, you're not going to think it's going to work, because anxiety feels awful. But you will get out of it the way you got into it if you just follow that. And it happened, and it was only a few days ago I was having a little bit of a moment, like I said, about I've gone through physiotherapy, I've had a few aches and pains for my muscular issue. and it got me down a bit. And then the next day, I was around my dad's house for about 7 hours in the garden with him and his partner. And I had a few moments, but I got home and I thought I wouldn't have done that
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. I
Yeah.
mean, I honestly believe I would not have in my life what I have now if I hadn't have met you, because I would never have been able to do that. It's kind of it's weird. It's
It doesn't
it
feel
really
real, does it? It doesn't feel real. But you know, in actual fact, so like this was your life, this is your life, and you know, it's there for the taking. And you've proven to yourself, you know, that day you sent me the picture of the beach was a momentous day for me, because that was our initial goal when we first started working with each other. That was the one thing I said to you, like, what's your long-term goal? Oh, I want to get in the car and I want to drive to the beach, which to a lot of people is like, well, it's not exactly hard, but for you and for me working with you, it's a real goal, you know, it's a challenge. But you did it, and I'm so pleased that you're able to do these things now that, you know, give you that joy and find you that passion. And I know, you know, things have changed for you on a personal level. You're looking at other careers and doing different stuff. And, you know, not only have you come through anxiety, but you've been able to like take a wider view of your life. And it's all those other things that have, you know, given you that clearer picture, I guess, which has massively helped you move forward as a person. Am I right?
yeah, I've walked away with more than just going to the beach. I'm so much more calmer, and I'm a lot more thoughtful, not just about other people in my life, but myself. So when something doesn't feel right, or I'm not happy with something, I listen to myself now and say, you know, you deserve to have what you would like to have. And one thing that was really interesting to me, and obviously it was something that you taught me as well, is that we don't just get here overnight. It's years of bad habits, you know, those thought patterns, those interpretations, those safety behaviors. And I look back now and I think, okay, I was desperate to get back to who I was before this mess started, but I actually don't want to. I want to be even better, because I
Yeah.
never want to get back there.
Yeah.
And I can see everything I was doing was gearing up to me having that event, which was the panic attack,
Yeah.
and how I felt with that.
Absolutely. It's,
Yeah.
you know, it's a really interesting train of thought to think that actually something so awful as health anxiety, as we all know, is exhausting, really hard work. But if we can get to that point where we're coming through it, we can look back and go, you know, it's taught me a lesson. Without it, I wouldn't be this person that I am today. And so I always say to people, there is a positive to find in any negative situation if you look for it, and if you look for it hard enough. So to find that and go, actually, you know, I've learned a lot, and do I want to be that person before? No, I want to be even better. Is amazing, and hats off to you. You've done it. You know, you've given it your all, and yes, it's still work in progress. You know, yes, you've got to keep every day. You've got to keep showing up. It's like, you know, when people come through, they're like, well, this is my life now, and it really is. You know, it's not about just going back to your old ways. It's about the way forward, and you know, grabbing it by the horns and really going for it, which is what you're doing. So yeah, you know, you're doing amazing, and you know, I've loved working with you. And yeah, I'm so pleased to just be, you know, even a small part of your life. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I really do. I can be a bit of a things happen for a reason kind of person, sometimes not. But I have had so much happen in the past sort of 3 months. There is no explanation for it other than the work that I've put in with your help. And you know, obviously the pressing issue of family is something I've been aware of for many years, and it's something that I've tried to actually resolve, and I've seen it as something that can just never happen. You know, and being able to get, like I say, get to the beach and get all these other things, these other people, these other memories, it's come from a place of strength that I didn't know I had. So I'm quite eerily surprised of myself,
Yeah,
and the things that I can do. And I think that's given me so much confidence.
100%.
Um,
100%. And it's you, you know, yes, I've helped you. Yes, I've guided you, but you've done the hard work. You've put this in and you've done it because enough was enough. You didn't want to live like that anymore. You wanted to get your old life back, which has happened to be getting that amazing new life now. But you've done it, you know, you have done it because you wanted the change. And equally, you know, we talk about manifestation and all those things in life, but if you want something bad enough, you will achieve it, you will do it. But it's trusting that you can do it. You can get through this, because anxiety is a habit, as we know, and it's about breaking that habit and putting in new behaviors to enable you to move forwards, which you know, which you're telling me now. Amazing.
I am so happy, and I honestly just think anybody that sees this and is so in the midst of things, think there is something wrong with them, you know, do not underestimate the power of the mind, because I've had symptoms that have mimicked heart attacks, that have mimicked so many things.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, I've had so much blood work, and there is nothing that is physically wrong with me. And when symptoms come and go, you know, you have to take that initiative of anxiety is likely to be the answer, and don't think you're stuck like it, because I quite literally was afraid to hoover my own carpet in the fear that if my breath rate and heart rate increased, I wouldn't be able to cope.
Yeah.
And now, you know, if I have a headache, I'm able to go around the shops and just go, oh, I've got a headache. Before, I wouldn't have wanted to go out.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's
there's a way
fantastic. Yeah,
forward.
it's
And
amazing to know that the anxiety can have that hold and that power over you, can stop you doing the basics. But by just turning it around, and you know, simple things, nothing I teach, as I always say, nothing I teach is rocket science, but it's about putting these, giving you the clarity to proceed, and knowing that if you do this and this and this, it will lead to this. And it is baby steps. You know, often we have weeks where we're like, well, we haven't really made much progress, but you know, we're heading in the right direction. And it can feel like really hard work, because let's be honest, it is. If it wasn't hard work, none of us would have health anxiety. But you know, it's doable, it's achievable, and you just got to keep chipping and chipping and chipping away and showing up, and you have. And I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on here, and thank you for sharing.
no, thank you for everything, because you know I've messaged you so many times, and I can do a really long voice note, as you know.
You can.
And you've never not responded. You've never, every time I speak to you, I feel like I'm the only person you speak to, because you invest so much and it doesn't feel like you're torn between so many people at all. And I think that's very, to give you some feedback as well, very unique to you. Not just your, you know, your kind, caring sort of attitude and nature, but you know, you really have everything together, and you're a very big advocate of carrying on and moving forward, because you practice everything yourself in your journey.
Yeah,
And
100%.
you know, you always say, you know, drink your water, and you know, all the
The
visualization.
basics.
I never
Yeah.
knew about it before, but you are actually advocating it through yourself. You know, you practice what you preach. And
100%. Yeah, well, I couldn't do my job and not do it myself, you know, I have to. But yeah, thank you for that feedback. And the reason why I do this is because, as you know, I've been where you were, and I know how it feels. So I am very much conscious of being in that dark place with nobody around. And so that's why I offer all the free help, all the free advice that you want. Plus, you know, if you want to come and work with me and achieve the amazing results that you have, you know, it's available to you. It's there for the taking, and you know, for you to grab, as you have, you know, have proven. So thank you. I really appreciate that feedback, and it does mean a lot to hear that stuff, because this is hard. This is a hard job, but I love it, and I love seeing the results. And this is why I do it. This is the reason why I do what I do. So thank you.
yeah, no, thank you. I just love that nothing's off limits. I always worry about saying my symptoms, and I could say something to you and you'll say, because I remember you said to me, I was describing something and you said it's like a little power cut, and I thought, yes, that's it.
Yeah.
And it's so nice to, you know, for you to also share that part of you, because that's very inspirational, to speak to somebody that understands. And yeah, it's great. I'm I just kind of go, I'm cured.
You've made huge progress, and I love it. And go claim that life, go do those amazing things. I know you've got great plans on the personal level, so go do it, go enjoy it. And you've got little ones, as we know, running around, and just enjoy being with them. So yeah, amazing, and thank you so much. And yeah, all the best, Zoe, and take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bye.